if you have so many AI tools to start vibe coding with, why do you need a team? So the managers will become more and more the operational part. 20% of liability still will be there. Probably 10% of the work will be done with AI.
Focus on what are they, and then leave the what machines will take it before you even think about it.
Reinvention is a process. It's very iterative, and the understanding and your knowledge is growing with the process. You need to understand your goals. And that's where people are really having problems with. They are going with these 4 elements and yeah, let's hope something nice will come out of it. But you are sometimes missing the goal because the people you gather in your organization are in this organization for a reason. I want to add just one more thing to the Amazon, right? Because you mentioned them. And I have the feeling they approached it in a way like the saying, when there is a gold rush, you should sell shovels, right? So you saw immediately in the first year of after OpenAI started that they increased the capacities at AWS. Yeah, into different directional communication and timestamps databases and increased security. So you can actually right now the AWS governance or whatever the name is. Sorry, I forgot the term. But you have like a secure way where you can put actually your data in there in a secured way and then make the calculations. They are making millions with it already, right? So they are the only ones who are actually profiting from LLMs and tokens.
With Oracle.
Currently, I would
with
Oracle,
was Oracle as well. And but 100%, I think. So it was very visible in the war here in the Middle East. Like most of all the models are sitting on Amazon infrastructure. But I was more referring to Alexa and Siri. But Jeff Bezos didn't miss the bus. He started his own new business. And then we can have something in details to him when it comes to his AI invention or reinvention of his new baby on AI. But spot on, infrastructure of Amazon, where most of all the LLMs are sitting there, and with Oracle, of course, and they were the first to invent the GPU as a service, which we'll talk about today as well, and their own models. But Microsoft admitted, you think with all of these cuts and trying acquisitions and working, and they announced a consortium of investment as well in cloud between Microsoft and Amazon, and Meta acquisition of Manos, and then changing, of course, the AI strategy every 2 other minutes, and then trying to do things and then try again and all of that, like the usual Mark game. But do you think AI is pushing them to reinvent?
Alex.
Well, I was going to drop it off to you, Pawel, but one thing I was actually reading about this a couple of days ago in a separate article, but I forget exactly which one of these companies it was or which country specifically, but it was something like they're firing 3,000 people from one particular office and they're hiring 1,000 new ones at the same time. And somebody actually broke down what are these positions that are being laid off, and the 3,000 people laid off in that particular example, I can't recall which one it was, but it was basically the middle layer management, and the 1,000 new people they were hiring were individual contributors, engineers primarily. So what that tells you is they see that AI is eating the blue collar, it's eating the management class, and they need somebody to actually operate and run things. So for sure, it's AI caused. And it was interesting that I think yesterday or today, China announced as well that they're deeming it illegal to fire employees just for the sake of cost saving due to AI, which is also interesting. You know, we won't maybe get into the whole capitalist versus how much involvement there is from like the state, but I think it's just the reality of things is going to happen. And Amir, what we touched in the past is that a lot of these people leaving the top companies, they're going to trickle down into the second tier, third tier startups and kind of other areas. So I think somebody who's got 6 to 9 months severance pay from Microsoft, they won't be out of a job for too long potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was curious. You as a recruiter have probably completely different stories, like gold rush for you, right?
Well, we're seeing,
Um,
like to give you one example, recently I had an engineer in the Scandinavian countries. He was working for a US based company and he was making 160,000 like base salary, working fully remote, all that. And for the past almost year, he wasn't able to find something at the same level. So there's a repricing there as well, but they choose to go for other companies for lifestyle, for flexibility, for remote work. But you definitely see a big, let's call it discount on those top engineers.
yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I have a feeling that's actually very good what is happening. Yeah, I like it as an entrepreneur. Yeah, because all these people have already some operational knowledge and quite on a high level. So if they trickle down, as you said, Alex, to the second and third tier or smaller companies which are supporting, the quality of the input, whatever is happening, will increase definitely, first of all. Second of all, I would say like 20% of them will not go to any other tier. They will be entrepreneurs. They know how the capacities are right now there. And if you have some idea, and usually when you work in these big companies, you develop some ideas or you see stuff other people are not seeing. We will see a growth on the entrepreneurial market with new tools, new approaches to existing tools, which will again help the society and everyone else. So yeah, it's tough for the people because they had like nice payment and didn't have to maybe do so much for it. That's why they got laid off, right? But right now they were hired for a reason. And you, Alex, can probably tell us way more how the hiring process is actually for these big companies and how difficult it is and how vigilant it's done. So these people have enormous qualities. And I think when they are coming now to market and have the same tools with AI to actually boost their ideas, I think amazing things will happen. And we see that already, right? So like a secondary market of supporting tools and some connectors, and you see which engineer got laid off and do his stuff in the background, right? So I think that's amazing. And at the same time, we know every change requires these four elements. So when you are creating new job, you need the knowledge, you need tool, you need skill, and you need place, right? It's these four elements, and these four elements works not only for creating something new, it works exactly the same for reinvention. So let me make a connection in here. So everyone who is let off by these companies will invent something, yeah, gaining his knowledge. By the way, with AI, knowledge is becoming way less important. You can gain the knowledge and information in a way that was never before. But we have two different types of knowledges, right? We have a knowledge which is like academic, and we have operational experience, which actually goes also into some knowledge, how I do stuff.
Intuition and taste, I guess. It's almost a combination of
Yeah, I probably would differentiate it even more because intuition is just experience repeated over and over, so you can do the decision quicker or even without thinking it. That becomes your intuition.
Sure.
But the experience, even if you did something once, you don't have intuition about, but you have already some structure how to think about it, and you will be operationally better than you do it for the first time, right? And this operational knowledge is still difficult to get from AI, right? So people who were at this big companies and saw how the stuff is done on the highest level in the world, they will have actually through osmosis gained even some stuff how the thing should be done. Yeah. So knowledge will be one part of it. Then you need a tool, and AI is just part of the tool, but you can create your own tools to create new jobs, new market, new whatever, right? So what you will work on is the tool. And then you have your skills. Skill is quite high by these people, right? And you just need to find a place where to put it. Which might be virtual space, but also physical space, right? We know how services are growing all over the world and so on. So we might see also very interesting stuff popping up. So yeah, about layoffs, I'm quite positive, but that being said, the reinventions happening in behind will be the same. How I'm replacing the skill, or which skills we need to gain as a company, which knowledge I lost, which knowledge I can put into this place here. As you said, okay, we are losing some blue collar. Yeah, we need some other type of knowledge into the place. And maybe with all of this, which tool and in which place do I put them in the future? And that's where the reinvention in the big companies will happen, or an invention on small scale.
Maybe I would want to put a different perspective on that, actually, on this. I don't think we're talking about managers in the layoffs. I think management and leadership is a creative and skill on its own. Of course, of manager or a good leader. I think a management or management and leadership, curiosity, managing people, mobilizing people, that's a skill. I think it's going to take ages to be able to be replaced or complemented by AI. It can be boosted using AI, and that booster will let you leave, I would say, the team leader roles, the technical leadership, like the team that leads the team, or the 7 to 8 years experience that is mostly accumulated experience on the topic itself, than actually an accumulated horizontal experience. So the deep expertise on the medium level can be replaced now by a junior plus AI. And then the manager will have a bigger role to try to manage that layer. And I think that new work style is impacting most of the organizations now. And there was another angle I wanted to put on the table. I think Western organization, and that's why you don't see this in Eastern organization. Western organization have overdone it in stuffing. Laws, labor laws, work from 9 to 3, work-life balance, and then you ended up having big chunk, and that's the fireback of having that big chunk of people. Too much bloat there. Now I can easily replace it with a couple of engines, and they will work 24/7. You don't see the massive layoffs in the Middle East, or you don't see the massive layoffs in China. It will actually replicate more into boosting the performance in reality than reducing performance. I think the market is correct itself after a time of overspending on certain technical skills, where you have 10, 15 developers, the job can be done by 1 or 2. But the job still needs to be done.
Interesting.
I guess we're going to create more jobs, right? As a byproduct, with electricity coming and all the guys lighting the lamps in the parks, obviously with the candles lost their jobs. So humans always adapt, right? I guess on a long enough time horizon, I think it's going to be a net positive. Pawel, what are your thoughts?
Probably. I want to challenge just one thing. I agree with most of what you said, Amir, but about management. I mean, the goal of a management is to provide clarity, right? What needs to be done, and how maybe it should be done, and why we are doing this, right? So it's providing clarity is like 80% of job of the manager, but the rest of it, yeah, and clarity can be really quickly and done way better by AI, to be honest, right? So I, as manager, I ask also, okay, that's my goals, that's the task, what's the priorities, why? Well, we use the tasks, so that the 80% is easy to replace. I think that's the problem is liability currently, right? You have ownership, you have society, you have regulators, and there still need a person who should be liable for decisions which are done. And my feeling is, as soon this part is somewhat or somehow figured out, the manager will be not necessary.
Pavel, you cannot really undermine your capacity as a person, you as a Pavel, when it comes to dealing with the AI. Your capacity of asking the right question to the assistant and gearing the assistant into the right direction, and immediately knowing that you pursue clarity on the direction or the structure of doing things. That inherited experience needs to exist to be able. You need to know the what before you use the how.
That's perfect, because my end of my thought is that the managers with the knowledge, with all what you just said, will be pushed to become actually the current engineers. You have the knowledge. Why you have to? And if you have so many AI tools to start vibe coding with, why do you need a team of coders if you have actually everything you need for the next steps in your brain? So the managers will become more and more the operational part because of the knowledge they are having. And I think the 20% of liability still will be there. Probably 10% of the work will be done with AI, but more and more managers will switch and be moved into the actually developing areas, and
so the work is
the work
being
with AI.
reinvented completely. The way we're doing work is like it's gone. It's over. It's not gonna be the same again. It's done. And I feel that's where we are definitely, like it's gone. It's not gonna be the same. It's over. And people need to find their own places. And my real advice: stay on the what. Like definitely, like people don't even bother to think how things are being done. Just focus on what are they, and then leave the what. Machines will take it before you even think about it. You agree?
I agree.
Well, I think that's a good way to maybe move on to the next story, which is the last kind of case study here we have on reinvention, or I don't know what you want to call it, even if it counts as a reinvention. But obviously, Allbirds, the shoe company, they went from 4 billion to selling the business for 39 million. So obviously more than 90% drop in value. And then they basically raised 50 more million, and they spun up a GPU as a service company. So Amir, maybe from a high level perspective, what's the play there? Is it, do we all just put AI in the name of our companies and we can raise double the funds? Or like, what are your thoughts initially when you saw the headlines?
I have to be honest with you. We had a full case study about Allbirds in Harvard. And it was one of the cases that we had a lot of debate about in the class. Like, and I had a very strong opinion after we finished our case study there that this company will disappear. It doesn't make sense. It's foundationally done wrong there, and it will not continue this way. And I had a lot of people objected in the class, but my feeling and my point, and I was trying in my mind to create a parallel between Allbirds and On shoes, on how they are actually approaching the same value propositioning. So Allbirds is founded by a gentleman, Brown. Brown is a footballer from New Zealand. He used to be vice captain and captain of the football team of New Zealand. All-timer sports, mid-career or mid-level type of a sport. He came out of the a sports career, and he had a vision or a goal. Most of the current shoes are being overrated by blurry to the clients on how different brand like the Nike, and he said, like, let's create a very nice, simple, sustainable shoes and tackle the market around this. And he came to the market with the Allbirds, all wool, really done all from plants type of shoes, together with his co-founders, Willinger, which is a sustainability engineer. And they started pushing in the market. Of course, sustainability was high when the time they came on, and everything was big. So it started really raising and growing. Like, it's really all plants shoes and done from wool and from wood, literally. And you can dissolve it and it will become oil in a few years, and non-synthetic. And the vision was very clear, and they were going all in, rode through the wave. And I think the debate was, this gentleman was trying to do good, or at least placing the way that he's trying to do good. But the business needs to do well. And for the business to do well, it needs to start creating a value proposition for the whole market, not just a person that is sustainable. And the product itself was actually not good for me to use it. It's a couple of years and then it's gone, or maybe it is not as sexy or as hot or as I think he missed the point about people buying the, or in parallel to them, about and going with Federico J and Swiss engineering, also sustainable, reducing, but they really focused on getting a very strong shoes, and then done. And it was inevitable that they will go down, in my point of view. Why I think we need to watch this company is the purpose. And I think companies are reinvented if the purpose is reinvented. And for Apple mission has been always getting every person, like democratizing technology on the person level. And that has been in their line of thinking always. It's on the person level. Satya's Microsoft changed the mission of Microsoft from putting a laptop on every desk or on every hand to push organizations to achieve more. And that was a reinvention. And they've been moving in that direction, really changing the way the work is being done. And their main customer, clear in the mind, is organizations to do more. And they're working on that direction. Meta has moved from social and try to do every other things and then go back to social and try to do every other things and then go back to social. They're not able to clock on a purpose and then go through to it. Allbirds, if they go approach the GPU as a service, as the sustainable, their mission from the origin, that this is the sustainability game, and bring in that sustainability mind into GPU and as a service and AI, then probably they will really manage to do it. Because if that's really the belief, if they're just doing it because that's the wave, let's put AI and let's try to reinvent a new company and snatch the sticker and go around with that and see if the money will come running on the back that I have made it before, even if I succeeded or failed, like a frequent entrepreneur or a exiter, even if he exited on a total loss, but he exited. And then let's retry with a new business. Yeah, I think he will join the other bus of thinking companies in another cycle. And they fall apart, by the way, like the two founders. So that's Tim Brown only. That's the whole story. And back to you guys. What do you think?
If I can jump in maybe just for 1 second. To be honest, I mean, I think it's the latter. I think the idea sounds nice that, hey, sustainability was our core. Let's go with that and let's reinvent ourselves. But I mean, the guy cashed out. If I'm looking at it from a practical point of view, I have a brand that's 95% dead and it still carries some weight with the name potentially. So if I'm buying the company pennies on the dollar, I'm able to raise an extra 50 million on top just based on the name. 100 million invested in GPUs, that's kind of enough of a cushion to make some noise in the market, right? To me, it looks like just the best way to maximize the remaining value of the company. I'm not sure if going fully sustainable is going to take them, to the same levels as the big players, but I mean, it just seems like the best way to squeeze the last 2-3 drops out of the lemon, Pawel, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I have so many. That's difficult. You touched on so many topics, and I have probably opinion to each of them. But let me gather the thoughts from beginning. I mean, the companies, when they are growing or they are coming into market like Allbirds, are usually one promise company, right? So they were about sustainability, and you cannot keep growing just based on one promise. You need to create this ecosystem around and give a lot of small details and incentives for people to actually stick to you and keep doing that and repurchase whatever it is. You cannot just say, okay, I'm still sustainable and you paid twice as much for my shoes. There are other ones, and just trust me that my supply chain is great. right? It's the initial thought. It's there, but you need to reinvent the shoe. You need to create new looks. You need to go into different markets, right? Nike, it's sportswear, right? It's not just the shoes, even though we are thinking mostly about the shoes of Nike, maybe in this context. But they're fashion, right? There are some sports supported. Nothing of that happened at Allbirds, and that's alone for me shows that the leadership of this company is not reinventing themselves inside of the company. They stick so long to their promise that they went downhill, and even in this drive, there didn't change much, right? I mean, reinvention, it's a dirty thing. It's when we are talking about let's reinvent, it's maybe
Dirty
some
word.
beautiful, dreamy, and so on. But it's usually really dirty, and it starts in a not nice place, right? It's a loss of cash, loss of growth, or loss of credibility. One of these three things will bring you to reinvent your company. Otherwise, it's going well, right? It's growing. Everything goes well.
Unless you shift
when
earlier, before they happen.
that's the yeah. If you have a company, you never hear about the companies that they have to reinvent if they are all the time reinventing, right? I mean, when is the last time we were thinking about reinventing Apple? Yeah, they did it in 2001, right? They started the process to 2007. They changed the name from computers to just Apple, right? So we are not selling computers only, we sell a lot of stuff. Yeah, and suddenly it happened because of the drive of the people inside, right? And at Allbirds we don't see it at all, right? It was sustainable shoes, bah. Right? And then
One trick
now,
pony.
yeah, and the only thing they got no cash, no growth, right? So huge actually need for reinvention. The only asset they had with the one liner was selling it to, what was it, American exchange group, I think, right? They sold it to, so they got cash again, right?
Yeah.
So we have some cash, we have no growth, we have still some credibility. So I don't know what the leadership knows about actually doing GPU and computing power. Yeah, they jump, in my opinion, they jumped on something which is right now hyping, right? So they can actually have some additional money from markets to actually have a chance on growth. I have my doubts that they will manage it properly. I tried to dig who they fired, right? And you don't see any meaningful names coming there. And when you think again, knowledge, tool, skill, and place, you need all of them new if you are doing so. So you have completely new company, which means, I mean, if you ask me, is someone reinventing? I see a lot of industry companies who are trying to do stuff differently. The first thing I ask is, what did you stop doing? Show me what you stopped, and I tell you if you are reinventing or not, right? Allbirds stopped everything. They sold the business, right? So it's actually, that's not reinvention in my definition. They are just on the credibility and the ticket number they have already on the stock market, right? Bird is still the same ticket. They try to gain some hype for people who are just researching, okay, which companies are doing now AI, right? I'm really curious how many of the original investors went in and bumped up and buy new stock after the what Albert said. Yeah. So I will be really curious next few months to see which people are actually joining the team and who is fired, because I mean, you have designers, you have people from supply chain, you have people with nothing to do with AI powered GPU or whatever they are planning to do. So for me, it looks fake so far.
Do you think the entrepreneurial market in, I think Pawel is saying, are you saying something, Pawel, or are we lagging? You hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear
I
you.
would
Okay.
hear you. Maybe there is some lag.
Yeah, I was saying, do you think the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the US is broken? Like, following me. This was a power legal move that they have done for the stock market to keep the stock, to leave it there and completely establish the company under, and then find someone to them and get them the money and say, okay, let's do something that is almost a cash cow nowadays, and see how it works.
Yeah, I mean, the system was broken already before, right? We know that VCs and investors are jumping on stuff which they can somehow reliably show to their investors why they did it, right? No one gets fired because they bought Microsoft licenses, right? that's the truth. So if you have a company who was on the stock market and is have like proven leadership that they did some growth, right? From, I don't know, 50 million to 4 billion or whatever it is. So the leadership know how to do business. You can go in this direction if you don't go one level deeper and try to understand what is necessary to actually pivot so far as they are doing right now. I wouldn't put everyone in the same basket. I think the entrepreneurial market in USA is still amazing, and the people having way better chances doing actually new business in US than it's unfortunately still in Europe, right? We are so blocked by red tape and all this stuff going on in here, and yeah, when 4 out of 5 days you are doing some paperwork and just one day working on your product, we know how it ends, right? So yeah, I think it's not broken there, but there is some not nice things because of the business side of VCs and investors in US always. So this didn't change anything, but I think there's more chances than dangers.
To be honest, Tom Brown is never my favorite. I feel like he have been trying to use buzzwords from the beginning and got hurt. And the fact that he is in the celebrity game from the beginning, he managed to get the buzzwords managed by celebrity character and then come out with a good company. But he managed to grow it to 4 billion. And I also believe in second chances. And that's why I would like to observe if he gets it right this time, actually.
Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong, right? I'm the guy who played this and now do robots.
Now you're running a robotics company, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm absolutely not about that, and we have so many interesting examples in a world that it worked, right? I mean, Lamborghini from tractors to sports car, right? Or Wipro in India, yeah, from producing oil to being one of the biggest IT companies, right? So that's the level of change.
And
Allbirds is doing.
Elon Musk from fintech PayPal to space with
Interesting.
with a completely interesting. He has a mission. He has a purpose. That's why he kept it. But Elon Musk PayPal is doing space and cars. And
Yeah,
it's
interesting. I don't know. I would have to think longer about it, but there's something different about how Musk approaches business. And definitely what's first thing is he do a scientific approach to changes, and
Understanding the
to
problem as well.
understanding the problem.
From
And
first principle, yeah.
that's what you, yeah. I think
last
that
episode we had a very interesting talk about Tom Muller, the guy really behind SpaceX. But I think the leap of Elon Musk into SpaceX was something else completely. Actually, let's put it this way, from where he was doing before. But yeah, Alex.
Amir, if we were to maybe tie all of this together, and you brought an example of what Satya and Nadella has done with Microsoft. Obviously, Pawel has some firsthand experience there. Can you give us maybe a walkthrough, Amir? First of all, what do you think he's done right as a case study of what to do and what not to do, maybe? And we can go maybe with Pawel's firsthand, information that you can share with us.
I would definitely go that we have a say in Arabic. You don't talk when the tutor is in the class. So I would take your first-hand experience with Satya, and then I will maybe say my humble opinion about how I see it from outside, to be honest. But
Okay, then ask me a question.
I
I don't
think
know
I
the
think
direction.
I think Satya took an organization behind a founder, which and that's already a challenging position to be in. Took an organization that was focusing on selling to individuals, and with a mix between that and the B. And I think he took his time for a long time. I think maybe 12 to 18 months before he came out with the new purpose of Microsoft. And then since then, the numbers are amazing. And that says a lot about what happened back. So being there inside the kitchen of Microsoft, and I don't know, have you been in a Satya era or the era before Satya? What did you see different actually?
I didn't work with Steve. Steve Ballmer was before Satya, so I definitely was after that. But there was a beauty about how Satya got into this and how the polarization of everything in Microsoft happened under his leadership, right? And I think that's the words I would probably use. So he actually managed to align not only the expectations of customers, but internally, deep down into the last engineer, what their next mission is. And they kept it very simple on the level of communication internally, right? So empowering everyone. Yeah, that's like became really the deep mantra in Microsoft. And this way you didn't drop anything what was the focus before that, because it was Windows and Office basically, right? So that was the core, and everything around was growing and growing incredibly quickly. I mean, Nadella, if I recall correctly, came from Azure, right? So cloud business was his thing, and he met actually with every department at the Azure, right? So all the connectors were coming to his department, and he was seeing which problems the people are having and where the growth is going. So it was really smart move to put him and not just a financial executive on top of the Microsoft. And that's what will be funny also about Apple later on, right? But to put someone who have deep knowledge about the technology, but most importantly, understand the networks of tools working for you. And the vision itself wasn't created by Satya himself, right? That's probably what we see from outside, but it's huge effort, of course, of a lot of department, a lot of conversations, and he was tying these things together because they were like 27 divisions, or I don't recall the right number, right? But there was like a lot of groups working how to align and where are the connectors, how we can create an ecosystem which really empowers everyone. And this took time, right? The 12 months you are saying, it probably took longer because they started the process already before it was official, and that Satya is taking over. But the real drive happened actually when the first results were coming in and the response from businesses and people, actually how effective this can be, and the competition. It's not, you are not swimming in your own pool, yeah, on this level. You are understanding what's Amazon or Oracle are doing, what Apple is doing, and trying to connect those dots, differentiate yourself with the infrastructure you are having. It's what was really masterfully managed by Satya, and he still does amazing job at that, right? So all the new businesses and AI approaching and how it can be used all over the tools, it's driven still by the main leadership. I have the feeling, yeah, it will be time for a fresh breath. Yeah, we have the AI. We know how fantastically Copilot is working. Yeah. So there might be new approach
And Microsoft
necessary.
Teams, don't forget.
Oh yeah, that's my
Your
favorite.
favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's the proof. I, as a startup, don't have to deliver perfectly working tool, right? If Microsoft can have bugs, okay, guys, come on, let's keep it honest. Yeah, but back to the story, the reinvention, and I think honestly that's what happened at Microsoft at that time. They understood the shift in the mind of people, the shift in technology, and shift in the computational power available. And from these tools they are having, they had already the knowledge how to combine it, and they created the skills and created new places how you can interact with those tools. What I find really amazing is how smoothly it went. I don't have like a one moment to be said about Microsoft. All right, now we are dropping the shoes and now we are into GPUs, right? It went so smoothly from being mostly Windows operating system and Office supplier to the powerhouse they are right now.
And it was
And
really
that's
amazing, the shift, right? It was really amazing, the shift of revenue competition. Like the revenue combination moved very smooth.
Yes. What's also quite remarkable, maybe, about it is how much upskilling they did within their company. They didn't rehire or fire and do new hirings. They really put pressure on keeping and actually educating people and giving opportunities for growth within the company, which gave really great boost on the products. Right, so I think that was also very smart move from them.
And just to maybe amplify the magnitude of what's been done since he stepped in 2014. So they went from more of let's say Windows first, computer first, and one-time license for Office to mobile first, cloud first, subscription-based revenue from Microsoft Office and whatnot. And here we can see appointed as a CEO. Obviously, they opened up a lot of their the Office tools to all kinds of devices, not just limited to Windows, which is huge. Focus on Azure, which we know is one of the biggest revenue drivers for them, just like it became with AWS, obviously. Subscription-based models for Microsoft Office, bought LinkedIn just casually in the meantime. They bought GitHub as well for 7.5 billion. So restructuring different divisions, doubling down on AI, investing in open AI, obviously in the mix of all the cloud infrastructure developments now. Blizzard, so one of the biggest game companies as well, became theirs. So it's a lot of stuff done in just over 10 years. Quite impressive.
But tied up in a completely new, in a nice way, actually. And latest, the investment in cloud as well. I think they own now 35% of cloud. So please double check the number, but I think it was something like this. So it was a very interesting move as well into cloud, and realizing how Copilot is amazing, so they probably wanted to find another solution to that.
Definitely, I'm quite small warning maybe on the side for Microsoft. They are still very heavily aligned around their software, but they are having still quite a mess about hardware. Right, they are using an infrastructure. They are very dependent on suppliers, and this dependency might be dangerous if something happens, right? So probably I'm quite curious if they decide to change this. I mean, we saw already some news about them trying to do it, but it wasn't successful yet. So yeah, quite interesting which strategy they will go on developing hardware side.
It's definitely time for them to do something. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's 1% to 3% of Anthropic that they own right now.
Right. So where is the 30? It was a 30 billion?
Share,
yeah, 30
they
billion.
have their 350 billion.
Yes. Okay.
350 billion. Yeah.
Okay. So
well, why don't we maybe tie all of this together, Amir? Obviously, we have Pawel's invaluable insights here on the different topics. Should we maybe tie it all together and maybe focus on what are some best practices if your company is lacking growth, cash, or credibility. How can you reinvent yourself? How can you do it the right way? So Pawel, maybe any first thoughts that come to your mind? Obviously, you've done it multiple times already in your businesses.
Yeah, but I think most importantly, I did it, but I observed also quite a lot of things, right? And I think my first thing will be to approach and understand these 4 elements for reinvention, right? Knowledge, tool, skill, and place, and which element I should go for first, and where I have the biggest need for change. And don't do so much planning. It shouldn't be like you plan for half a year that you do reinvention. Reinvention is a process. It's very iterative, and the understanding and your knowledge is growing with the process. You need to understand your goals, and that's where people are really having problems with. Yeah, they want to reinvent something, and they are going with these 4 elements, and yeah, let's hope something nice will come out of it. But you are sometimes missing the goal, and missing the goal is the biggest problem later on in execution, because the people you gathered in your organization are in this organization for a reason, right? And they are believing in something, they are behind something. And if your goal will completely misalign with what you are trying to do next, you will lose those people, and then you are in a big trouble, because rehiring, as we know, and that's not speeding up, it's slowing down a lot of processes. So yeah, goal understanding, then what and why probably is even more important than what we do. So why we want to do it, and then the what and how will appear in the process. So I think that's my approach for reinvention. And I wouldn't wait until you are in a problem of credibility, or your growth completely disappeared, right? You will be one of the companies with like Kodak or Blockbuster, right? We know the stories. So this developing this radar of trouble incoming, I think that's what I saw in a great entrepreneurs and great leaders. They feel it way earlier than everyone else. I say they are pushing. The people still don't understand why we are changing, but the leaders, even if it's only some intuition that we have to switch up the gears or change some stuff, that's what probably you have to develop. It's not given by birth. It's something you have to revisit with your mind, read, understand, talk to people. Just sitting on a desk will not do it. There needs to be conversation with Amir and Alex to bring some new ideas into my head, and that's probably the main thing.
I love it.
Amir, do you have, Pawel has been very generous with his time. Do you have maybe any last questions before maybe we tell people where to find Pawel, what he's up to, and how they can get in contact with him if they wish?
I will close it with like maybe differentiating between transformation and turnaround. And I think reinvention for transformation or reinvention for turnaround. I think you're trying to do a turnaround when you already crashed the bus. And like a transformation is like, or you have taken the market signs, how Pawel explained it very well. It's earlier. It's like how Netflix reinvented the whole entertainment since we talked about Blockbuster. They didn't wait for someone else to kill the DVD. They killed it themselves, and they went into the digital and they started doing it, and it went for them. So that transformational reinvention, or like reinvention by transformation, or reinvention because you're forced, because there was a value shift, and that becomes a turnaround when it comes to the business tax. But both of them, because you cannot really like treat your people as a furniture in reality. They need to align to a goal and purpose that you have, and you have for your business as well, or your calling. And those 3 dynamics together, if you take the bus, it's probably a turnaround. You will have to redo a lot of things and change a lot of things. You are before hitting the market shift, and you write the signals. It's aligned to your goal. You're giving your team a very interesting layway into the new process. that's a good transformative to reinvent a company or an industry, like how Netflix reinvented the whole entertainment. And yeah, that will be my complementing thoughts to what Pavel said. And I will go back to you, Pavel. Final thoughts on this? Agree or disagree? And do you consider yourself a scholar or a magician on your leadership?
I love the question before. I was always thinking I am like a scientist, right? I want to do new stuff and develop the new formula for something and go on the border. And as soon you are doing something for a third or fifth time, you are becoming engineer, right? So I think I'm more like the scientist, but there's a lot of magic in science. So I probably will tend somewhere on a border between science and magic. That's where I am.
It's
I'm scholar secondary.
the science
You
that you
need
don't
the
understand is a
academic.
magic. So for everyone else, right?
Yeah, and I need a scholar. I mean, academic stuff you need to gain speed, right? You don't have to reinvent stuff which was already done. So yeah, the academic knowledge is secondary for me.
And speaking of magic as well, Pavel, so just maybe a plug for what you're doing in terms of your company, DBR77, you're a co-founder, CEO. I think when I first spoke to you more than two and a half years ago, you guys were working, I think, on 1 or 2 core products. Now you have 5 products in your suite. So if you could share maybe a little bit what you do, what kind of companies and businesses this is helping, I think our audience would also be interested in learning a little bit more.
Yeah, thank you that I can share this. I mean, it comes from our operational perspective. Both me and Piotr were CEOs in some manufacturing, and we are doing stuff for manufacturing companies, a logistic business, to actually help them go through digital transformation, robotization, and automation. We have automated Consultify, a product which helps you to plan actually your digital transformation. And so you can do the assessment of your current state, plan for the future, have some insights how to do it, and manage the process. And then we have tools along those goals, which is a marketplace to get access to robotization and automation globally. We have 5,000 integrators and over 1,000 technology suppliers. We have full suite of executive systems, and that's stuff we talked with Alex before, right? We are creating an operating system for humanoid robots, but right now, of course, helping just day-to-day operations. We have
And even
digital
like,
twins.
it's pretty cool, the stuff you showed me before a demo, how you're mapping out the whole factory. You got like the schematics or whatever of all the different machinery and tooling. You're simulating it, trying to optimize like the shortest route and the most efficient. I mean, I think in the future, there's going to be a lot of businesses ran by some AI, a couple of people at a factory full of robots and tools like yours. So super fascinating what you're working on, and the complexity with different manufacturers, different industries. I mean, I can only imagine how tricky it gets with some industries.
Yeah, and you cannot wait like 3 weeks to make a small decision, right? You need a tool where you can change stuff quickly in a digital twin and understand the repercussions of your decisions very quickly, and not wait till someone programmed it for you. And because you need the data for doing all of that, we also develop our hardware. So we have industrial IoT, we have hubs which can collect data from any station in a production facility and close the gaps you are having. And yeah, that's this current suite. We are growing currently in US, Saudi Arabia, Japan, and the whole of Europe. So
And
you can
congrats
find.
as well on your recent investment. Obviously, I'm sure that's going to help kind of expand your operations and your footprint even more. So that's very exciting for you and the team, I'm sure.
Yeah, we are thrilled, and we are having really fantastic customers and partners. So it's a blast. Yeah.
To be honest, it's amazing to
Well,
see how I've seen the work firsthand. To be honest, like we attended a couple of innovation workshops together. We worked there with some of the leading industrial groups, and we presented things. And Pavel and his team, they have one thing in that actually is fascinating for me. When you hear all of this Industry 4.0 transformation, IoT, digital twin, for many people. This is just a buzzword, and the guy is coming to like give me a headache here. Let me get this thing done. But for Pavel, here you go. It's working. I show you. It's how does this work? It's improving. This is how you get the KPI. If it doesn't work, come back to me. I will actually show you that it's actually working, and how the efficiency and how the practicality and how the tangibility of the conversation, not up in the digital twin with that requires 10,000 sensors and 1,000 robots, and you will invest $5 billion before you see something working. Here you go, it's working. Let's go. Let's start. And I love what the guys are doing. To be honest, it's a real magician. So I think we got our word.
Thank you, Amir. Yeah.
Pawel, thank you so much for your time. We're looking forward to have you on again in the near future, and all the best of luck and success in your companies and your endeavors.
Guys, thank you, and thank you to everyone for
Thanks.
listening.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Take care.